Disclaimer. This movie review is inspired by content from Cheesy Flicks. This review contains commentary, opinions, narration, analysis, and added creative value for entertainment and discussion purposes. Welcome back. Gather around because today's story starts with pure chaos. And trust me, by the time this one ends, you'll be asking the same question everybody kept asking. Who sent me? You know those mornings where peace decides to pack its bags and disappear? That's exactly how this movie kicks off. Not with calmness, not with romance, not with breakfast. We begin with shouting, arguments, noise from every direction, and neighbors already regretting their life choices. So imagine this. A guy is still at home while other people have already started their day. School time is reached, people are waking up and moving on with their lives. But in this house, Wahala has resumed. The atmosphere quickly turns into one of those situations where everybody suddenly becomes involved. One person talks, another replies, another person enters the matter, and before you know it, what should have been a simple issue turns into full community entertainment. And then comes the dramatic reveal.
Someone boldly announces, "I am his girlfriend." Girlfriend? Neighbor? Family member? Who exactly owns authority here? At this point, if I was passing outside, I would quietly reduce my walking speed because Nigerians don't pass drama quickly. We suddenly become investigators. We act like we are minding our business while our ears are collecting every detail. Tell me honestly, if you hear this kind of shouting outside your house early in the morning, are you passing quietly or you will stand small? Things continue getting hotter. Voices become louder. Pride enters. Anger enters. Ego enters. Sense quietly exits. Now everybody wants to prove who is stronger, who is crazier, who will have the final word. And this scene was funny because the argument reached that level where both people forgot the original reason they were even fighting. You know when people argue too long and suddenly begin saying random things? You are crazy. No, you are crazy. Let's go crazy together. At this point, I wasn't even watching a relationship argument anymore. I was watching two people compete for an award. And somehow, the more they shouted, the funnier it became. Then insults started flying everywhere. Animal, mad person, you're sick. Get out, leave my house. Everybody was dropping emotional bombs. But then, boom! The movie suddenly flips everything. Because we discover something shocking. The entire dramatic fight we watched was not real. Wait, what? You mean all that shouting, all that emotional energy, all the screaming and chaos was an audition scene? I had to pause mentally. Because suddenly people start congratulating him. Bro, you killed it! You nailed it! Oscar loading! And immediately I understood. These guys were actors. Honestly, I liked this twist because it catches you off guard. One second you're invested in relationship drama, and next second you realize you've been watching acting practice. Smart move. Very smart. But this movie wasn't done. Not even close. Because after surviving one level of madness, our main character enters a completely different problem. Opportunity knocks. And not just any opportunity. A big acting opportunity. One of those chances actors pray for. The type that can change careers. The type where people start saying things like, after this movie, your life will change. And honestly, the amount of money involved? Immediately I heard the payment arrangement, I understood why everybody suddenly became serious. Money can motivate people. Even impossible things suddenly become possible. But there was one tiny problem, one very dangerous problem. The role required him to speak Pidgin. Now, some of you are laughing because you think Pidgin is easy. Relax. Speaking Pidgin and speaking Pidgin are not the same thing. Anybody can say one or two words, but sounding natural, sounding like someone that grew up speaking it, that is a different game entirely. And immediately, fear enters his body, because this guy clearly knows his limits. Meanwhile, his friends? Oh, those ones had confidence on his behalf. You know these dangerous friends? The type that volunteer you for things you never agreed to? My guy can do it. Trust me. He's a superstar. Superstar where? The owner of the talent himself was shaking. But friends had already signed contracts spiritually. I was laughing because this is real life. Sometimes your friends believe in you so much that they create pressure. You now start asking, do they genuinely believe in me? Or are they trying to destroy my future? Now, the funny part is that they already accepted the job. Accepted. Finished. No retreat, no surrender. And our guy realizes he's trapped. So now there is only one mission. Learn Pidgin. Simple, right? Wrong. Very wrong. Because learning language from books and learning from street experience are two different things. You cannot carry grammar confidence and enter market environment. Street people will humble you immediately. And that was where this movie became absolutely hilarious. Because our guy begins practical lessons, and chaos starts following him around. Everywhere. People misunderstand him. Conversations become awkward. Situations become uncomfortable. And you can literally see confidence slowly leaving his body. I actually felt secondhand embarrassment in some scenes. You know that feeling where you're watching someone suffer and you start covering your face? You're still watching, but you're suffering with them. That was me. Then enters another unforgettable moment. The thief scene. This scene nearly finished me. Imagine confusion, accusation, shouting, and misunderstanding entering one room together. Everybody is talking. Nobody is listening. Everybody is angry. Classic Nigerian energy. And then that woman? Please, let's appreciate her. Because the way she delivered her lines felt real. Very real. She sounded exactly like those aunties that can finish somebody with words alone. No physical fight needed. Just pure verbal destruction. And while watching, I kept imagining how funny things must have been behind the scenes. Because if actors performed like this during recording, imagine rehearsals. Imagine bloopers. Imagine failed takes. Somebody definitely laughed. Somebody definitely forgot lines. Somebody definitely ruined serious moments. No way everybody stayed focused. Then the movie gives us another important reminder.
Talent alone isn't enough. Sometimes opportunity appears before preparation. And when that happens, people either rise or panic. Our guy had confidence in acting, but this challenge pushed him outside comfort zone. And that's actually something relatable, because everybody has that one thing, that opportunity that sounds amazing until details arrive. You celebrate first, then reality enters, then fear enters. Then suddenly you start asking, who sang me? The title suddenly starts making complete sense, because every bad decision in life has that one moment where you question everything. Everybody has experienced it. You apply for something, you volunteer, you agree too quickly. Then stress starts. Then you sit quietly and whisper, who actually sent me? One thing I genuinely enjoyed was the humor. The comedy didn't feel forced. It felt natural. The situations themselves created the laughs. Nobody needed to overact. Nobody needed unnecessary drama. The writing allowed ordinary moments become funny. And that's difficult, because good comedy isn't only about jokes. It's timing, delivery, expressions, reactions. This movie understood that. Another thing worth mentioning was chemistry. Characters felt connected. Friends acted like real friends. Arguments felt believable. Conversations felt natural. Even when situations became ridiculous, interactions still felt human. That matters. Because once acting starts feeling artificial, viewers disconnect. But here, you stay invested. You want to know what happens next. You want to see whether this superstar survives his mission. You want to know if Pidgin will finally cooperate. And that's a good sign. Overall, this movie delivers comedy, misunderstanding, friendship, pressure, ambition, and plenty of Nigerian energy. It's the kind of story that reminds us life becomes funniest when plans stop working. Because honestly, perfect situations rarely create memorable stories. Chaos does. Confusion does. Unexpected embarrassment does. And this movie gives all three. Final rating? I'll give this a strong thumbs up for entertainment, especially if you enjoy funny Nigerian stories with relatable characters and moments that make you pause just to laugh. And now I want to ask you, if someone offered you millions for a role that required speaking a language you barely understand, would you accept it? Or would you protect your dignity and run? Drop your answer. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more reviews here. See you in the next one.